Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee, the home of Alvin York and Dolly Parton, among many others, right? Many other great folks, and probably a few lowlifes. You've got lowlifes in your community, we've got them in ours. They're everywhere, fortunately in small numbers though, right? Yep, here I am again. Is this a radio show? I don't know. You're seeing me. I'm moving. I'm actually semi-alive. So it must not be a radio show. It must be a video? Yeah, I think it is. You saw the title. I think it's called Shooting the Breeze. Well, what am I doing here? Why am I actually moving around? A live shot, not just me shooting something on the range, a still shot. Well, you know, after 100 radio shows, John and I talked about it, and well, you know, we've had a lot of requests to get the camera in here in the reloading room, and on the 100th video especially, a lot of people liked having the camera there. Of course, that's a different sort of thing, but anyway, I thought, well, you know, this would be a good time to make a transition if we wanted to, and definitely since it's on video, I guess it's not a radio show, is it? Was it ever a radio show? So anyway, changed the name. I'm going to call it Shooting the Breeze. Had a lot of really clever names I thought of, but I don't know. They just didn't ring right, and they wouldn't be as flexible maybe. But I'm going to call it Shooting the Breeze because think of the double meaning there. We're all guilty sometimes, aren't we, of shooting, bang, bang, the breeze, missing the target, hitting the wind, hitting air, right? So, and then of course it is, I'm just going to sit around here and shoot the breeze with you, just chat. Want to try to keep it just like the radio shows have been, because that's why else do it. And we do plenty of videos where we're actually on task for some reason, or with some purpose. For some reason, why are we doing this? No, I mean there's a kind of a task at hand, a firearm to ring out and take apart and kind of give you my impressions of and that sort of thing. This still is the old reloading room, and it's still going to be a chance to just chat with you, okay? And very informal. If you're new to the channel, if you stumbled on this for the first time, duh, good luck, because that does happen occasionally with a radio show, or I don't know, some update video, some FAQ video. You know, whoa, where's the range? Why are you shooting? What? What's this? An hour of chatting, talking? Who cares about that? Where's the guns? You know, so if you're new, sorry, you're not at necessarily the wrong channel. You're at the Hickok 45 channel, but we do a lot of different things, don't we? And some make sense, some might not, but we enjoy it, and enough of you enjoy it that we're just going to keep doing different things and then doing what we do. The staple, shooting, gun reviews, or at least my impressions of a gun. I don't know if they're really gun reviews, but we just give honest impressions of firearms. I guess the best way to say that. Now I do need to keep it shorter than the former radio shows. I've got a clock here I'll keep an eye on. Because man, it wouldn't take me long. You know, I could chat for an hour and a half, and we've got a file here that is 20 gigs or something. I can't upload it, you can't even open it, so I'll keep it to, I don't know, 30-40 minutes, and if necessary, if I have maybe a lot of really profound things to say, really important information to impart, I mean, it becomes so enlightening that you can't leave your seat, and neither can I. Maybe we'll do part 1, part 2 or something sometimes when I just would say some weeks, but I don't see it as a weekly thing necessarily. That's when I'm in the mood, when like it's kind of a rainy day out here, and which is always kind of frustrating. I'm an outdoors sort of guy, and I'm out on the range. If I'm not shooting, I'm on my mountain bike or out working on the range, or doing something out there, and when it's muddy, it's not as much fun. I'm not afraid of the mud, but I live here right on it, so it's not like if you go off into a park somewhere, you drive somewhere to enjoy the outdoors and it's a little rainy when you get there, you go ahead and do it. You know, you don't let that spoil your fun necessarily. That was your plan for Saturday, and you drove to the park or wherever you went, the woods. So I'm here. It's outside my door, so there are plenty of days when it's not muddy. So I do other things. Do a little redneck gunsmithing in here. I'll bring in a firearm and you know, maybe need a little honing, might need some cleaning, extra cleaning. I do that lots of times. But yeah, here we are. So it's Shooting the Breeze. If you don't like it, you want me to go back to the radio format, the audio format, where you don't have to look at my pretty face, you'll let me know. I'm pretty flexible, really. I just enjoy chatting occasionally in an informal sense with you. And enough of you like it or watch it that listen to it, you know, whatever, that I've kept doing it. I was surprised after the first 2 or 3 radio shows that, wow, like 7,000-10,000 people were listening to me ramble on, and then that it grew from that. I don't know, we get 20, 30, 40,000 views. This depends on the radio show, and I think when we post them, time of day of the week or whatever. But season, those videos are kind of seasonal. You know, in the winter time, there's a lot more views and activity than in the, say, the summer or spring. It just varies. But we've been doing it long enough, we actually see those patterns. You know, as dumb as I am, I can actually see a pattern if it's repeated often enough. So anyway, here I am. Yeah, if it's kind of boring to you, please just don't watch it. You know, I hate to torment people. You know, and you might have noticed I've had to remind a couple of trolls. Well, occasionally I have to remind a troll that you know, really there's a place you can change your settings on your videos, because we have it set that way on the videos on our end, to where it's really not mandatory to watch or listen even, you know. But some people don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to get it, you know. They come on, you know, being angry trolls, and they just haven't figured it out yet that you can click out of the video. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch part of it. You don't have to watch any of it, you know. So I don't know, maybe they'll figure it out. They're probably new to computers, you think? Probably not. Most trolls are pretty experienced, right? they have too much fun. So anyway, I want to try to stay relaxed. I'm not sure about the camera in my face. I'm accustomed to standing here and kind of, well, not really working on anything, but when I'm yakking at you on the former radio shows, as I called them, and you know, I can sit here and I can stand here, pick my nose, whatever I want to do. I don't think the camera will bother me too much. You know, I don't know. If it does, this is sort of experimental. You're guinea pigs. I'm a guinea pig. We're all pigs. So we'll see how it goes. If I feel okay doing it this way, and we don't get too many complaints, you know, maybe I'll keep doing this. So anyway, a little bit of a switch here. We'll try it a few times anyway, and shoot the breeze with you, okay? And shooting the breeze. And so here I am. One advantage too is I can do a little show and tell. I don't focus on that too much, but you know, I normally have a couple of firearms out here when we're doing the radio show, and I could tell you about it. So I made sure I had a couple of firearms out here, and this is where I have hung out for 29 years. That's when we built this barn. Dad and I built this workbench, or I guess I mostly built the workbench. He helped me build the room. He was living back in, it was in 86, early 86, when we put this little barn up, and I built the workbenches, mostly finished them, and so for 29 years, man, been hanging out in here. My wife won't let me in the house, so, but you know, this is the man cave, as John's always called it. I come out here and reload, clean guns, you know, whatever do, radio shows, stupid things called shooting the breeze with our viewers, just whatever I want to do. So you can see about 29 years worth of clutter. You can't see everything, but as I look around, there's a wall full of clutter there. There's a wall really full of clutter over there. 29 years, ceiling is full of clutter. I have all kinds of things on the, like, I keep a lot of things within reach, and I don't have to have a problem. I don't have a problem reaching to a 6.8. There's one of my Phobos holsters I always grab for either the, I've got a couple hanging up there, one for the small Glocks and one for the large Glocks, other various holsters, Mac pouches, you know, keep those handy. You know, if I'm doing something that has big magazines, 45, you know, yeah, 45 or 10 millimeter or a 9mm 40. You know, I grab a mag pouch and they'll fit about any kind of magazines well enough for what we're doing. If I were out rolling on the ground and pretending to be really tactical, you know, they might not hold the magazines really well, but for what we're doing out there, they do just fine. You know, and some leather holster, oddballs. So I don't keep anything too valuable out here, even though it's alarmed and cameras and everything. I don't leave guns out here. I just, you know, bring them out to work on or to show you, right? So, but anyway, this is it, and you can kind of see I've got a couple of firearms I'll show you here. Yeah, various items. My Dremel tool, you always have to have a Dremel tool handy. I keep a wire brush on that, stiff wire brush, and that's really handy for cleaning some things. Maybe the bolt of a AR, you know, you get carbon deposits on it really bad. I don't know, what else? I ought to pull out some things every time I guess we do this and show you. Certainly lots of choices. I see 5 or 6 grand mainsprings up there I bought one time, hung them up there. So again, 29 years, 30 years, that's almost 29, or that's almost 30 for you folks that have trouble with math, you know, Kentuckians and others. But it's been a long time. So you know how things get cluttered and how you accumulate things in the hobby. I mean, this is an incredible hobby, the shooting hobby, isn't it? And boy, have I been through a lot of different iterations of it. Too many, really, when you get right down to it. I mean, it's been good because it's helped with the videos, and I have experience in so many different kinds of shooting by being such a goofball, play baby, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I have gone through the, you know, the cowboy stuff that I just love, lever guns and the single actions, the you know, the modern guns, military rifles, handgun. I like it all. Muzzle loading. I've got stuff over here, ramrods and cleaning supplies for that. As I look at the corner, cross sticks for my sharps. I used to have a sharp. Well, I've got another one now. My arrows, my bow. I don't have my bows out here, but I got arrows and equipment for that. I had a big powder measure over here. Well, that's still there, actually, out of your sight. But for measuring black powder, when I just had to get into loading black powder cartridges when I was doing cowboy action shooting, and that was a huge endeavor, you know, just to learn how to do that properly and all the various things. And shotgun, I got a shotgun loader over there, an old one, mech. And that's mainly what I used it for in the recent decades, loading black powder shotgun shells, and it's just so many different things that have gone on in this room. But it's all been good, and then I'll kind of drift away from it after maybe 4, 5, 6 years and kind of do something else, but or focus on a different area of shooting perhaps. But it's been good because I've had experience with a lot of different things, and hopefully I can impart or have imparted some of that knowledge. You know, that was one of the main reasons we started doing this. I've been shooting most of my life, and thought, well, not to be altruistic, or sound like I am, but I could do some simple little videos, and we could share this just like I did with my students. We could, you've heard that story about when I was teaching Shane, and that was some of the first stuff I did out there at the table with single actions and lever guns for them, to show them the various firearms, you know, and then take it to the classroom and put it on the wall. You know, I couldn't take the guns in, but I could take myself in shooting real guns, you know, on the wall on my range. So that's pretty good. Next best thing. Maybe even better, because I could show them how they shoot and everything. But anyway, kind of got into it through that. I thought, well, some Glock videos and different videos, we could give some basic information, try to give back a little bit of information for new shooters especially, just anybody that was interested. So we try to be educational, you know, a little bit. So like I said, I want to stay relaxed. The time will be up, you know, very quickly probably on this. That's the only downfall to this. Whereas on a podcast type thing, strictly audio, you can ramble on forever. So really, you're the winner in this. If we keep it in video format, you won't have to suffer as long. And then again, you don't have to watch it, do you? You know, I mean, if you can stand to pull yourself away from my pretty face, you could just be going about your business, just like we all do when we listen to podcasts, radio shows, that sort of thing. So I'm not going to do anything too dramatic here on video that you'll miss, right? But before I forget it, I will hold up a couple of firearms. I thought, since you got to look at my ugly face, I would bring out a supermodel. Oh, yeah, really? Which one? Cindy Crawford? Well, you don't even know who Cindy Crawford is, do you? I brought out an 1851 Navy Colt. I was going to grab my 1860 because it's actually prettier, I guess. But this old percussion pistol, which many of you have seen, these are basically one of the supermodels of the firearms world. 1851. Hickok carried them, coincidentally. And not this one. And 36 caliber. Pretty neat. You've seen the video with them. If not, get to it. Stop this video, get out of it. You can always come back and go to the video on those 1851 Navy Colts. And went to Friendship this week. Just got back. I went up on Wednesday, night. Was there Thursday at Friendship, Indiana, the muzzle loading big event there. And so I just dragged a couple of my tomahawk. I didn't buy another tomahawk this time, or throwing axe. I've got a couple though. Beaver Bill, one of my favorites, and the H&B, another favorite. I've had these for a long time. The H&B, about 2 or 3 of those. And they're always set up there at Friendship, and these are fun to throw. We've got at least one video throwing them, and I need to do a chapter 2 of that because it's fun. I get them out every now and then, throw a little bit. Pretty cool. And but that's the kind of thing that you can see at Friendship. I did buy a knife this trip. Where is it? Yeah. Pretty cool. Elk handle. Forged. Hand forged. Nice little toad sticker there. Again, it's a muzzle loading event. It's a competition, and a lot of people shoot in it. And then there are a lot of vendors there, and there's a flea market in connection with it. There's a primitive area. Lots of people set up primitive camping and everything we've talked about. We did a little video there one year. I took some pictures I'll stick on Facebook maybe. It's kind of a shame because it's slowing down. I've been going since the early 70s. Off and on, and it's just not quite as big or quite as well attended, and I hate to see that because it's a really neat event. If you're ever around Friendship, Indiana, it's southern, I guess southeastern Indiana. It's probably 15 minutes out of Cincinnati or from northern Kentucky. It's not that far. Get over there. I do advise you go in the first weekend because, like a lot of things like that, it starts on one weekend and goes through the next weekend and all that week. However, after the first weekend, it's hit or miss these days. I'm sorry I went, actually, almost, because so many people were closed up. A lot of the vendors were not there, and that's gotten to be more and more of a problem. And you know how that is. It's like a gun show. If you go on Sunday afternoon and a lot of the vendors are closing up shop or leaving early, you just don't go back on Sunday, do you? That's the way I am. So I advise you go the first weekend, the first Saturday if you go. It's always the second Saturday. It starts on the second Saturday of June, and then the second Saturday of September. Okay, so keep it in mind, if you live anywhere within striking distance, I think you'd find it interesting. Okay, if you have any interest in those old flintlocks and cap lock, muzzle loaders, seeing people compete with them, and then all the accoutrements, anything you want relating to muzzle loading, there's someone there, a vendor, selling it, and other things too. It's where we got the leather for our shooting table, kind of thing. Cool place. Hate to see it on the downhill slide, to tell you the truth. What else am I going to talk about? Can't go too long. What else? While I'm doing a show and tell, look what we have. Kunin. I had a lot of requests for this thing over the years, and I've been trying to get one here from Kunin, and I thought they were going to get me one, but they just have not been able to do it, and as a T&E, but so I just looked at the Bud's website and found one on there and requested it. It was here in 2 days, and boom. So I've shot it a few times. It's pretty cool. .357 Magnum. I started saying 1911. I guess it is kind of a 1911, but it's a .357 Magnum. They're the regular rimmed cartridge. Okay, this is not a .357 SIG. This takes the same cartridges your revolver does. Yeah, I fired a few magazines that had no hiccups or anything, so we'll see how it does. I'll shoot it some more before we do a video, but it feels like it's got a nice trigger. Big old gun. Feels pretty good to me. So a lot of people have requested that, and I'm anxious to do that video. One other firearm, show and tell, I got more show and tell than I normally will have from. The MPX, the SIG, okay? So, I don't know if you've seen that yet. That's a pretty cool little 9mm, and it's kind of a AR pistol configuration, but it's different, a little bit different than your standard AR. And you don't have your tube back here, and don't have the SIG brace or anything. It's like you really can't use the SIG brace anymore for your shoulder, so like why bother with it, the way I look at that. So anyway, I've shot this. It works, and we'll shoot it some more. Pretty neat little AR pistol, I guess you'd call it. Those things are interesting. I'm not sure where they fit necessarily, but pretty interesting. Now, where you could in the past, get the longest tube that's legal and put that SIG brace on it, as you know, because we've got a video or two on that, and it's pretty handy. It could be almost like a short-barreled rifle, but if you can't put it to your shoulder, you lose that capability. At least where anybody sees you, right? So anyway, that's kind of the show and tell. Anything else here that would be of interest to you, but I'll let it go at that. Tomorrow is Father's Day. Don't forget. I don't know when I'll get this posted, but as I speak to you, tomorrow is Father's Day. Many of you are fathers. Most of you have a father or have had a father, right? Yeah, whether you knew him, whether you know him, whether he is around or not, you had a father, right? And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who don't know who their father is, right? Or their father's not around. But most of you probably know who your father is, and hopefully you call him or visit him tomorrow if you are able. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to drum up business for fathers or gifts for fathers. John's always, he's nice to me on Father's Day. Okay, he talks to me on Father's Day, no other time. Just kidding, as you know. There's a time on a more serious note when if your father is around, he won't be around, right? I mean, odds are you'll outlive him. You may already have outlived him, and same with all your parents or siblings or anybody, even good friends, anybody that's older than you. They're not going to be around forever, and just appreciate them. It's a life is short, life is fragile, and as many have already discovered, you'll get that phone call, right? That phone will ring one day. Could be today, could be next week, could be 10 years from now, but you'll get the phone call and he'll be in a hospital, or your mother will be in a hospital, or some loved one will be in the hospital, or they'll have had a heart attack and they're gone. Yeah, I've had those calls. I've had 3 of those calls, and it just happens, and nothing you can do about it, and then they're gone. So if you've got a father, hopefully you get to see him and visit with him. If nothing else, call him. Okay. So anyway, that's coming up, Father's Day. I always look forward to things like that, like Father's Day and my birthday, because it's the one day that my family is nice to me. Right? No, just kidding. Yeah, speaking of that's one of the, just to mention this Charleston business, because that's hot in the news yesterday, that tragedy that took place in Charleston, South Carolina. There's poor people murdered as they're sitting in Bible study in their church. I mean, on one hand, it's the most bizarre thing, because they're there minding their own business in their church, engaged in Bible study, and they get murdered. Of course, on the other hand, those gun-free zones, that's where these really horrific tragedies occur, it seems like, right? I mean, there's lots of different kinds of tragedies, but that's part of the reason too. By the same token, there's nobody in there armed, there's nobody in there to protect them at all, and you wouldn't think you would need anybody to protect you, would you? And of course, of all the Bible studies on Wednesday night of this past week around the country, how many you reckon there were? How many thousands of them? Of course, no, they were uneventful, but still, it's so tragic. And I was thinking of that with the Father's Day business. Where do kids like this 21-year-old? I mean, where is it that they go wrong? Where do they get warped out? Is it maybe they don't have a father? I don't know what the kid's family situation was exactly. But somewhere along the line, it's not just this. The actual, whatever you call them, spree shootings or those sorts of things, they're not that common. It's just when they happen, it's like a plane crash. It's very dramatic, and it seems that they're happening every day, right? People are being killed every day, one way or another. But it's just, you wonder what in the world gets into somebody's head, and what kind of upbringing they had. Obviously, the folks trying to further their political careers are going to talk about guns, like that's the issue. As I told my wife, somebody armed with two revolvers from the 1800s, two of these, or two Colts single actions that hold 6 rounds, could have killed 9 people if they're sitting at a table like that. So, they'll talk about guns and capacity and all that stuff. In fact, the guy reloaded is what I heard, and one of the poor folks attending the prayer meeting was trying to talk him down while he was reloading. Oh man, that even makes it sadder. But you just like to think someone could have been there armed. But what is going on? Like, where do these kids come from? Where are their parents? What kind of childhood did they have? How does someone get hooked into this bigotry like he was? You have pictures of him wearing all kinds of patches indicating he was a white supremacist and falling into that kind of weird thinking and stuff like that. Where do they get started with that? Is it at home? Probably so in some homes. If the father and the mother of the same thinking, that's pretty sad, isn't it? That's extremely sad. Or some friend or some influential person or the internet. I don't know. Where does that start? How do you get that kind of bigotry? Like, how do you get so indoctrinated in that sort of bigotry? It's just amazing. It's beyond imagination, really. And that's what it comes down to. How do people get in their heads that they're better than other people, or that other people have less reason, less purpose to live or something? How does that happen? How does that level of arrogance get in somebody's heads? What I'd like to know. All of us have people maybe we've met that we don't care for. I mean, their attitude or whatever, the way they go about things, I don't know. We all name people we don't care for. But I don't think I'm better than they are. I just think about things differently than they do. I might even think I'm smarter. Maybe I think more deeply than they do. And they need to become a little bit more enlightened or something. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. We all have those thoughts sometimes. But when you get right down to it, I don't think I'm better than they are. I mean, where does that come from? I am really no better than they are in really great scheme of things at all. And then to go the next giant step to think that person's not even worthy to exist, and then to have so much hate that you could actually try to kill them. I mean, I don't know, so many levels. It's just bizarre, and to all of us, right? Almost all of us. That's why most of us lead normal lives, and when something like this happens, it is just so incredibly perplexing and crazy, because it is. And there's no guarding totally against a crazy person like that. We all know, the lone wolf just all of a sudden acts. It's just that it surely would be nice if And if gun-free zones didn't exist ever, and if someone has a firearm and knows how to use it in almost any large gathering of people, even of 10 people, whatever, if somebody in that group has a firearm, they can at least reduce the tragedy. You know, you can't stop somebody from killing 2 or 3 people if they really want to do it, but you could limit it to that, right? So anyway, so I landed on MSNBC this morning for a minute. It's like a comedy channel talking about this. It's like a comedy channel. I mean, I always have to, shake my head. Is this Saturday Night Live? I mean, they're really serious in talking about guns and all these different things, and it's, so anyway, I don't know, I won't get off into that anymore, but it is crazy. But my heart goes out, and I know yours does too, to those poor folks in Charleston. It's just, I wish we could just totally put an end to that kind of thing. And it's a difficult question. It's not the guns, of course. If I hear the phrase gun violence one more time, wow, I'm going to write an essay on gun kindness, or knife violence or something. An example I've used so often, people just don't get it, or they don't want to get it. I saw a great line one time, a long time ago, something about how sorry youngsters, close your ears, every woman has the tools to be a prostitute. Doesn't mean they're going to do that, right? Every man has the tools, virtually every man, to be a rapist. Is he going to be a rapist? No. It's all this stuff starts up here, right? That's where the violence is. That's where the kindness is, the hate, the love, whatever it is. And to personify a gun, that's what that is. Little English lesson here. If you're calling something gun violence, there's no such thing as gun violence. That's assigning a human characteristic to an inanimate object, the definition of personification. So it's just ignorance when people use those phrases. So anyway, enough on that, but we sure hate that those folks in Charleston going through that and their families. What else was I going to talk about? I'm running out of time. So whatever brilliance I have, I need to impart. Let's see, I could turn the hands of the clock back. That won't work. Oh, videos. Let me say a couple things about videos we've done. We made live a video on the Wilson Combat Protector. We got that thing almost a year ago, and I thought it was out or about to be out, and then they were delayed in releasing the gun. We had never done a Wilson Combat before, so I thought that'd be cool. Whatever you can give up, give us one. We'll do one. We did Ed Brown's, those $3,000 guns. So we may even do a Les Bear sometime. I've not talked to them, but talked to Nighthawk at SHOT Show, and they were going to send us one, and I just tried to contact the people 2 or 3 times, and they act like they wanted us to take one with us almost. Yeah, I'll do one of these, and I emailed them, and I just can't get a Nighthawk, so I give it up. But we'll do the Les Bear, and we did the Wilson Combat, and it was too early, so I didn't take the video down. It was months after we did the video that I posted it. It was in February I posted it, and so that gun still wasn't out. What? And so it has come out since then, like 2 or 3 months ago. We're not in the business of helping to launch guns for companies, that sort of thing. So, but I finally made it live though yesterday. So, but it's still way down the stack. It's all the way back down February. If you want to see that, it's on the Wilson Combat 1911, the Protector. It's a 9mm. Okay, I did a Facebook posting, so watch Facebook. You'll know what's going on. Other guns, we've done a lot of videos, and we did an LCP custom video the other day. We'll post for too long. I've never been a fan of the LCP Ruger, and a lot of you probably have not either. I tell you though, if you handle this new one, this with the custom trigger, and it's got 2 or 3 changes, better sights, steel guide rod, and it has a trigger that is really nice. And that was the biggest problem with it, just like with the LC9. So if you ever thought that would have been a good gun, I mean, tens of thousands of people, I guess, bought that gun, the LCP, because it's so small, and I think it's reliable. I don't know of any criticisms reliability-wise with it. Biggest problem is the trigger. It's small and hard to shoot, and it had this long trigger pull. but now it's got a nice trigger. So it's still hammer fired, but it's a nice trigger. So you might want to give that sucker another look if you liked it before and the trigger was the only thing that held you back. Because I bought one. I bought the darn thing from Elks Outdoors here in Pleasant View, and I'm very pleased with it. I'm going to keep it. The other one, I don't even remember where it is. Somewhere tucked back in a safe, or I sold it for $100 or something. I just didn't like it. You know, it's hard to shoot. So I thought I'd pass that along. What else was I going to talk about? Not a lot of time to talk about too much, because I cannot go over on the time here. Well, one thing before we get too far, again, we don't thank you guys enough for tuning in and watching, you know, what we're doing, listening, whatever. And I know you write me a lot, and you're really appreciative of what we do, but you know, that's a two-way street. You know, you guys weren't out there, we wouldn't be doing it. You know, we wouldn't be doing it to this level and doing this many videos and really working at getting guns that we want to do and that you want us to do, and you know, keeping up the production of videos. And we don't do a rush job on them, but you know, we do 2 or 3 a week, and we enjoy doing it. And now we got some sponsorship, and it makes it easier, and we're motivated, you know, to keep doing it. We appreciate it. I know you may not be a fan of every sponsor that we ever have, and we're not going to have too many, because we're going to keep the videos. The videos are sacred, you know, from beginning to end, other than a couple of plugs at the beginning of a video, and then it's the video. If it's 20 minutes, it's 15, or if it's 30-minute video that puts you to sleep, it's still us doing whatever we're doing. And then after the video, then we've got the SDI, and we got some support there from the gunsmithing school there, SDI and Zeke. And then at the beginning of the videos, a couple of plugs, and then we're on with it, you know, and there will never be any conflict. We're very selective. It's got to be a sponsor, and we've had all kinds of folks approach us, but it has to be something that will not render us biased or put us in a biased position, or make it appear we're in a biased position. We have to turn a lot of things down just because, well, yeah, that'd be fine, and we're not going to give them any special treatment, but it still might look like we are. You know, so we really like to avoid that, although we'll get criticized for that anyway. People still think I get paid by Glock or something. Someone thought I was getting paid by Taurus because I was nice to the Taurus PT 111 the other day. You know, I mean, that's just going to happen. But no, the only folks we get anything from are real sponsors, you know, like Bud's Gun Shop, SDI, we get ammo supply. You know, so we're kind of looking for one more really good sponsor, a quality company, to give them a plug and kind of thing. But you know, that's about it. We're not going to clutter up the entire video, you know, with that. If it was a podcast or a radio show, a real radio show, you know, you could stop every 2-3 minutes like they do and have 14 ads, you know, that kind of thing. But we're not going to do that. We'll start out the video with some plugs and wrap it up maybe, and then that's it. The video, the content is not going to be influenced, and it's not going to be cluttered, you know, with that stuff. So, but anyway, I hope you support or at least if you're inclined to, at least keep it in mind. I know one of our sponsors, a major online, you know, retailer of guns and stuff, and you know, they're like the Walmart of firearms. Buds is. And so it's easy for, if you've got a little gun shop or somebody trying to compete with them, you know, that's where you get a lot of the, you know, you get the, negative stuff from some of those folks. But, you know, over the years, it's funny, everybody's always asked me about Buds, you know, go to Buds and get this, and go to Buds, they got the best price and all that kind of thing. And it's always been my impression of them, and it's kind of true. Now, all the prices vary, you know, I mean, you know, there's always somebody that can lowball, you know, on price. So I don't think necessarily they advertise we've got the best prices. That's not my impression. But they got good service, you know, and they've got a lot of good stuff. So again, we just appreciate their support, and we do not tolerate people running down anybody that helps us, you know, online. So delete that. You know, it may block somebody. You know, that's disrespect for us. Okay, even if you don't like the SDI gunsmithing school, or you don't like Federal, or you don't, whatever it is, if they're supporting us, at least hopefully you support them for supporting us, but at least tolerate them, please. So out of respect for us, if you will. And I don't know what else I wanted to say, really, but we do appreciate you guys watching. And we've got some ideas in mind and some videos coming up I think you'll like. And a couple of new things, maybe a week or two, you might see in a video. And I don't know, this is kind of new, I guess, if we do it. So let me know what you think. If I feel self-conscious, like I said, with the camera running, and feel like I'd rather just talk to the wall, I'll do that. But I'll try this a few times and see what I think about it. Okay? I don't want to, see, I have to rush a little bit because we're at about 45 minutes almost. So it's going to be a pretty heavy file. I'll render it in 720 though. There's no need to make this the highest def out there. So maybe it'll still be postable. Okay? And this way you'll get a chance to look at my pretty face, you know, while you're listening to all the profound comments I make, right? So, anyway, I do enjoy, I kind of enjoy this. So, you know, sitting here in the place where I spend a lot of time reloading or working on firearms. So, it's kind of neat to have you here with me. You haven't been in here for a long time, have you? We did a couple of reloading videos early on in here, just some basic stuff. I don't do a lot with reloading, you know, in video. I can't become the reloading guru. Already get more questions than I can answer, but it is kind of nice to have you in here. It's a little crowded, you know, with thousands in this little room, and there's already enough clutter, but I notice all of you found a place to stand and sit, so it's kind of nice to have you here in my little humble abode, my home away from home, and you know, just visit. So you'll be seeing us in real videos. And you might see us in person somewhere. We don't have a meet and greet schedule, but I run into you guys all the time. You know, KFC yesterday, a couple of nice guys, you know, at the Friendship, Indiana. So, you know, we're out there. I'm at gun shows all the time, gun shops and around. So it's always great to meet you all. And we'll do another meet and greet here. Schedule a couple probably. Okay. So I guess I better sign off because we're running out of time, and I don't have anything else really interesting to show you. You're not interested in looking at ugly bullets, are you? Ugly. Anything but ugly, because those are 45 Colt, 250 grain. A lovely sight, really. It's heavy. That's a lot of work. So it's been good to talk to you. And I'm sorry I didn't have more wisdom for you today, but let's wrap up by, you know, just keeping the folks in Charleston, you know, our hearts go out to those people, is what I'm trying to say. And, you know, just, you know, I guess if you know of any kid, we need to, and I know most of us are doing a lot better job of that, especially since back in the days of Columbine and everything. I know schools are doing a better job and trying to identify kids at risk, you know, but we need to do obviously a better job. You know, there's still people out there kind of isolated, and you know, there's signs, you know, just like this kid. When you go back and look at what he was into, you know, the drug, apparently the drug issues, prescription drug issues, and seriously, and you know, the bigotry, the racism stuff, and kind of isolated and dropped out of school. I'm not sure who can do it if the parents aren't doing it, but we really need to identify those kids that are really at risk and you know, do the best we can with them. So I don't know, no easy answer there, is there? Well, I'm glad you came by, and I hope you get a chance to shoot sometime this week. If not, at least fondle those firearms and maybe take one out and clean it that you haven't cleaned lately. Perhaps even if it's clean. I've been known to do that. I really have. I have to confess. Even if it's clean, I'm just in the mood to take it apart and make sure it's clean. Maybe because I just like the way it operates. There you go. True confessions. There's no hope for me. There's no hope for you if you're watching this. I hate to tell you. Life is good.